Ladies and gentlemen, you are gathered here today in this courthouse to listen to my response to the plea of not guilty. The charges of kidnapping or breaking and entering are all outrageous and completely biased of who I am. I hope my account will shed light on the evil deeds of my victim and prove me innocent. I mean, why should I be arrested for something I didn't do? This is Number, performing Little Red the Hood by Peg Carrot. Just because I'm a wolf, everyone assumes that I'm the bad guy. People say, poor little Red Riding Hood, poor little old granny. If the truth were known, these women would be arrested for fraud, perjury, even intent to deceive a police officer. These women are real con artists. Little Red, and she's cute, and she could scream hysterically, so everyone chose her version of what happened. Nobody even listened to me. I'm tired of my story not being heard. I'm tired of taking the rap. So, it was a late Sunday afternoon, you see, deep in the woods, and I live in the woods. These are my woods. Well, mine and the bank's. I have another 14 years on my mortgage, but the point is that these are my woods. And Red, she was trespassing. So naturally, I went over to her and asked why she was running across my property. You probably thought she said something like she was on her way to her sick grandmother's house. Wrong. She told me the most incredible thing had just happened. She said she was just walking through the woods, picking wild flowers, when suddenly she saw something hidden under a bush. Being curious, she looked under and was surprised to find several stacks of $1,000 bills. Since there was no one around to claim it, she picked it up, put it in her basket, and went to her granny's house to call the police. She then lifted up a corner of her napkin and showed me and gave me a quick peek. Boy, I'd never seen so much cash. There were lots of little bundles wrapped neatly in rubber bands. Oh, I got a little prickle of excitement down my back, clear to the tip of my tail. So I told her, why do you want to go to the cops? They'll just confiscate the money, and they'll never find the owner, but think of what you could do with all that cash. She looked at me and blinked her big blue eyes innocently. Oh, I can't do that. I've never spent a $1,000 bill before. I'd be too nervous. I usually only spend in 10s or 20s. I couldn't believe what I just heard. Sure, I haven't spent a $1,000 bill either, but I sure wasn't too nervous to spend one. So she then told me that too bad it was Sunday and all the banks were closed, and otherwise she'd just go to the bank and trade for whatever I had for the basket. So that statement made my first stand on end. I didn't see how much money was in that basket, but I did see lots of little bundles. So I told her it didn't matter if it was Sunday. I had a bank card for a cash machine. I could withdraw all the money, give it to her, and I'd trade for the basket. She asked me how much I had. I said, about $2,000. So she then said with a slight grin, oh, I'm not too nervous to spend $2,000. So by then, my heart was pounding. I was just imagining myself driving around in the woods in a new Rolls Royce or spending Christmas in Hawaii or Florida. So we got to the first Interforest Bank. I took out my card, punched in the numbers, and as the 10s and 20s came out, I gave them to Red, and she stuffed it in her pocket. We did that until there was no more in my account, and her pocket was full. So she handed me the basket, but she suggested I waited till I got home to open it, in case anyone dishonest was watching. So then we shook hands and went our separate way. I ran straight home, took a shortcut straight through the woods, locked in my lair, opened the basket, and it was quite a shock. There were little bundles, but they weren't $1,000 bills. There were pieces of paper cut to look like bills. And the only stack that had cash on it was the corner that I had my sneak peek. And that didn't even have a $1,000 bill. It was 100. I was furious. I had just been bilked out of my life savings. So I ran straight to Granny's house, and it wasn't locked. So I walked in, and the bed was empty. Granny had a miraculous recovery. So I put on her nightgown and nightcap, sat in her bed, and waited till Red to get home. You know the rest of the story. Red came in with an agent disguised as a wood chopper, and then Granny jumped out of the closet, and they all concocted that terrible story about me. Before I knew it, I was handcuffed and on my way to the slammer. And you know what the worst part of it all? The part that never made it to the storybooks? First Inner Forest Bank charged me with $32 in service charges for overdrawing my account.